Hi, and welcome to LRI Engineering's Accessibility Quick Tip Series. Have you ever heard of accessible language etiquette? Join us as we review some language that should be avoided and the difference between person-first language and identity-first language.
Historically, people with disabilities have been referred to as handicapped, crippled, impaired, etc. These words should be avoided at all times as they perpetuate stereotypes that people with disabilities are a burden on society, abnormal, or even less than when compared to others with different levels of ability. It is also important to avoid using terminology such as suffers from, stricken with, confined to. This phrasing reduces a person to being defined solely by their disability and diminishes their capabilities. A common misconception is that it is appropriate to describe people with disabilities as courageous and inspirational. It is important to clarify that these descriptions may be true and appropriate, but can often be interpreted as pity and patronizing. This type of language should never be used when talking to or describing any person, as it is discriminatory and does not reflect the value and benefit that all individuals, regardless of their level of ability, have on society. Person-first language is widely viewed as an acceptable, politically correct linguistic method. Person-first language puts the person before their disability. Some people do not want to be solely defined by their disability and the stigma that society imposes on them. Person-first language aims to highlight an individual's humanity, individuality, and equality rather than focusing on their disability. Some examples are saying a person with a disability instead of a disabled person, a person that uses a wheelchair instead of a wheelchair person, and a person who is blind instead of a blind person or a visually impaired person. It may seem simple, but the sentiment behind placing the person first and acknowledging a person's humanity before their disability can have a huge impact on the way others perceive an individual with a disability. Identity-first language is another common accessible language method that is preferred by many within the disability community. Contrary to person-first language, identity-first language puts the disability identifier before the person. As an example, some people within the autism community preferred to be called autistic rather than a person with autism. Similarly, some people who are blind prefer to be called blind or a blind person. To some, they feel that it is important to recognize that their disability is an integral part of who they are, and that it highlights their uniqueness and individuality. However, remember that neither choice is wrong, and it is important to respect a person's preference. Each individual is unique and has their own reasons behind how they choose to identify themselves to others. Going forward, remember to always use language that is respectful and empowering. Identity preferences will differ from person to person, so it is important to listen to one another and to recognize that no preference is wrong. Language is always evolving. What was acceptable in the past may no longer be acceptable today. Be flexible and adapt with society so that you are always maintaining the highest level of respect for others. The words we use can either have a positive or negative impact on others. It is important to always use language that is respectful and uplifting so that everyone, no matter their level of ability, feels comfortable and included. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe and take care. This online training has been produced and presented by LRI Engineering Inc. LRI is a Canadian professional engineering firm specializing in emergency planning, fire protection engineering, building and fire co-consulting, and accessibility consulting services. For more information about LRI and how we can help you, please visit our website, follow us on social media, or call us today.